What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about something that's probably on so many Tesla owners' minds, and that is how can I get more range out of my Tesla Model 3? Now, I've owned my Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus for about 7 months now, and in that time period, I've done road trips, I've done back and forth commuting to work and other places, and throughout the year, I've learned a lot about what gives you the most range out of your battery pack and how even other elements affects how much range your vehicle can get. So we're going to dive into that in today's video, and be sure to stick around to the end of the video as I'm going to give you guys some simple tips to maximize range out of your Tesla. As always, remember to subscribe and click that bell so you get notifications every single time I go live with a new video. And without further ado, let's talk about it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what is range. So when you purchase an electric vehicle, very similar to an ICE vehicle or internal combustion engine vehicle, you get a certain amount of distance you can travel based off of the fuel that you have. Teslas have a certain amount of range that they can travel on that battery pack. Now, depending on which version of a Tesla you have, your range may vary because the size of that battery pack that they put in your Tesla may be larger or smaller. Now, I can only speak from experience with the Standard Range Plus, but mine comes with a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack. So therefore, I am expected to get anywhere from 240 to 250 miles of range before that battery pack is depleted. But notice I said expected, because something that's very interesting about batteries is that range can change depending on a lot of different scenarios. So even though the EPA and Tesla says that you can get 240 to 250 miles of range out of your battery pack, that may not always be the case. But let's talk about a few reasons why that may happen. So your range in your Tesla may change depending on a lot of external factors. So it may be the elevation, the weather, your driving habits, and road conditions. All of those things can impact how much range your Tesla will get. Now, it's very interesting to note, in my last video, I talked about my road trip out to Salt Lake City, Utah, which was a huge change in elevation from Detroit, Michigan. So therefore, I saw more use of my battery pack because of the elevation and the wind than I did coming back when we were going down in elevation. Now, one interesting thing to note is typically when you pick up your vehicle, your Tesla may display the battery icon with the amount of range left or the suspected amount of range left. The first thing I'm going to tell you guys to do is go in and change that to battery percentage, because what it's displaying is basically under ideal situations how much range your vehicle would have. And typically you'll see that deplete a lot faster than if you change it over to battery percentage. And that can in fact cause range anxiety. I know I experienced so much of this when I first got my Tesla, and just to save yourself a little bit of heartache and headache in the process, just go ahead and change it to percentage. Some of the other things that can affect that is the fact that if you're running the AC system or the heaters or anything like that, well, that uses battery too. So therefore, the range that it's showing you may not be 100% accurate because the other systems in the vehicle are still using battery as well. And as you drive, be aware that the type of driving that you're doing can actually significantly affect the amount of battery drain you experience as well. So stop and go traffic, if you're doing shorter trips, things of that nature, because acceleration uses more battery than driving at a steady speed like on the highway. Another thing that affects your projected range is the temperatures outside. So summertime, I absolutely love to drive my Tesla because I typically get more than the expected or EPA range out of my battery because of how I drive. But in the wintertime, it's a lot colder outside, and a lot of the battery power that your Tesla uses is to try to keep the battery at an optimal operating temperature so that you can still use all the systems in your vehicle and it drives and doesn't wear out the battery a lot quicker than it's supposed to. So as you drive, your battery will warm up and you will start to see less energy being used. But remember that a cold battery uses way more energy than a nice and toasty one. And the last thing I'll mention that could be affecting your range is your charging habits. So this has actually been a very hotly debated topic over the years with Teslas. Tesla says that you should charge one way, and then the community says you should charge another. I'm going to give you guys what I do, but the short of it is You don't want to charge your vehicle up to 100%, and you also don't want to go long periods of time without plugging it in and charging it, because that could be affecting your range as well. But I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to give you guys some tips to help you maximize range and efficiency, so let's break them down. All right, the first thing that I would recommend you do is go in while you're driving and pull up your energy graph. It may seem like it's very difficult to read at first glance, but the nice thing about the energy graph is it gives you a readout of 5, 15, and 30 miles, and it uses that to calculate how much range you would get off of your battery pack if you continue to drive in a similar fashion. So I always encourage people use the energy graph to project how much range you'll have instead of relying on what the car may tell you under the mileage reading. The next thing I would suggest is, even though it's incredibly fun to go really, really fast in your Tesla, try to ease up on that a little bit when it doesn't call for it. If you actually get really good at predicting when your regenerative braking will kick in, you can actually put a lot of energy back into the battery without having to use your physical brake, and then that will also help to improve your efficiency as well. The next thing I would tell you is watch your speed. Even though your Tesla Model 3 or any of the other Tesla vehicles are designed to be very aerodynamic, you find that efficiency takes a huge dip once you start to go over 65 miles an hour. But just be mindful of that, because if you're looking for more efficiency, you're going to want to drive at a lower speed. Thirdly, or I'm not sure if this is third or fourth, but the next point I would tell you is to develop good charging habits. So Tesla and Elon Musk says that a happy Tesla is a plugged-in Tesla, and that's pretty much true. Whether it's in the summertime or in the colder months in the winter, it's good just to have your car plugged in, because the car does a really good job of regulating the temperature of the battery, and when it's plugged in, it pulls that power from your home power, as opposed to trying to pull that power out of the battery pack to regulate its temperature. So that's going to help you save on how much battery drains over the course of a night, or even when you're just parked, and it's just going to give you a lot more range overall by plugging in your vehicle regularly. In addition, what I would add to that too is to pick different charges of state for your battery pack. Now, it's recommended that you charge anywhere from 20% up to 90%, but if you're going back and forth to work every single day and you're only using 30%, and then you plug it in and charge it back up to 90%, well, those cells on your battery pack are the only ones that are getting used. Your battery pack likes to have a lot of use in those cells between 20 and 90%. So maybe one day plug in at 90% and then let the battery drain down, then only charge up to 80% and then let the battery drain down. That way your battery gets to expand and stretch out a little bit so that you get the full use of your battery pack, and that helps to maintain your range as well. All right. And the last one that I will add is check your tire pressure. Now, this is important on any vehicle, but especially on Teslas, because a lot of the power that you use with your Tesla vehicle comes from managing the motors. There is no engine. So when your tires are properly inflated, they're spinning at the correct speed, and it's more efficient. If you have underinflated or overinflated tires, that can also affect your range. Tesla recommends that your tires be between 42 and 45 psi. I like to keep mine at 45 year-round, because not only do I get a smooth ride, but I also get a decent amount of efficiency. If your tires are underinflated, what will happen is the motors have to spin more than they usually do, and it just drains the battery a whole lot faster than it needs to. So keep that in mind. Check your tire pressure regularly and make sure that they're properly inflated. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this information. Let me know down in the comments, what are you guys doing to increase your range efficiency and to maximize the use of your battery? I'd love to find out. And once again, if you like this video, please subscribe. A lot of you guys who are watching are not subscribed, and we would love to have you as part of the community here. And so please do so. Click that bell so you get notifications every single time I go live with a new video. And until the next one, everyone take care, and I'll see you then. Peace.